get that stream going. It is a special night, my good friends.
Is it?
Yes.
Happy birthday?
Oh, thank you. No. It's an Ellis. Ellis has his webcam on week. Hello, everyone.
Oh my god!
Hello.
It's been like 6 months.
Yes, and there's a reason for it. We have, for the first time, sort of a fake sponsorship.
Sort of a fake sponsorship?
Yes. So I went to the liquor store today, and I was talking to the guy about Dungeons and Dragons a little bit, and he said to try this particular red wine. And I said, hey, if I talk about it on my Twitch stream, will you give me a discount? He said, no, but you can talk about it. I said, okay.
Oh my god.
So allow me to introduce you to Apothic Wines. Now, things just got interesting. We invite you to indulge your senses, drink in new experiences, and follow the night through to its smooth, velvety finish. Now, what I have tonight, I have the Apothic Dark. Now, what this is a bold red blend, and it has hints of dark chocolate as well as coffee. Let's get this opened here, and we can do a live tasting. How's that?
We sell all the different flavors at work.
Do you? Tell us some of the flavors, Elaine.
There's Crush, the dark one. There's a Rosé, white, Merlot, a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Sauvignon Blanc one, Pinot Grigio style, and then like 3 other types of red.
I'm gonna let that breathe for a minute. But I do have my cheese platter this evening. I have a lovely French baguette with some dill Havarti, some nice fresh camembert, as well as some grapes and some carrots.
And craft singles.
No! Havarti dill, my friend. I want to let everybody know that now through New Year's, if you join the Apothic Insiders Club, you can receive 15% off your first order. From daring new blends and cocktails to product launches and upcoming intrigue, join the Apothic newsletter and receive your special welcome offer. If you use the code Bowman, absolutely nothing will happen. Apothic. Things just got interesting.
Oh no. Oh no. The new Destiny 2 dungeon is out and the armor is fucking cowboy themed. Oh.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I could be a warlock and have a fucking duster and a big ass hat.
That's cool.
Looks. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have 2 friends to do the dungeon with, so rip me.
Yeah. Hey, you want to level my account? I'll do it with you if you level my account.
No. I'm so sick of leveling stuff. I'm so glad that they changed like the seasonal stuff. It's like, hey, it's 10 power level every season. So I'm like done with leveling in 2 weeks.
That's nice. If only I wasn't still 300 levels down.
Yeah. Oof.
Good. Are we ready for the recap?
Yes.
Last week, after a long rest at the Forgotten Ingredient, Ren and Octavian slipped out for an early morning breakfast and discussed their past and the path forward. Meanwhile, at the Forgotten Ingredient, Aelys was busy making a large breakfast with half a dozen goblin sous chefs who proceeded to try and help by cracking eggs into a helmet and eating the shells off the counter. Varn arrived and paid them the money owed by the Queen to retain their services as sappers, bringing explosives devised by the late Barney Bafflestone and manufactured by Gerard Renaud to hamper the Vigilant's siege engines. Danric and Bee agree to fly in their druidic wild shapes east to gather intel on Haverhill and the movements of the Vigilant. Danric turns into an owl as Bee, as a giant eagle, holds him in her claws. Ren and Octavian return to the shop in time to meet Lamless, who came to bring intel and get Ethelind, who has been summoned back to the Temple of Valkyr by her mother. As Ren runs further errands with Varn and Saloon, they see firsthand the effects the war has had on the city, hearing stories of loss and suffering from people from different walks of life. Finally, Ren, who appears to be letting go of his past as a pirate and any memories of his time aboard the Sunder, gives up his claw weapon as well as the captain's vengeance, which he stole from a brothel the previous year. At the brothel, owned by a man named Richard with an oily mustache, Varn meets a man in a tabaxi suit and pulls off their tail, as well as a three-legged halfling and a dwarven dancer who takes great pride in her long braided beard before joining the halfling outside for a smoke break because no one's buying dances. Ren shakes his head, declining to answer any of Saloon's questions. Did I forget anything?
I think you need more detail about the brothel,
Yep.
particularly the name, because I don't think Leg was here for that.
I mean, I was told about it.
I'll just say that.
But you know what? Go ahead and repeat it.
Yeah, it's located midway between the sea and the road east.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Is that it?
Yep, that's where we begin. So I believe currently we do have a Cake. Hi, Cake. So Cake is currently flying to the east with Danrick. I believe Ren, Varn. Well, Varn was staying at the inn, and I believe Saloon and Ren were leaving as we left, and Versailles. I believe Versailles and Octavian were at the. Versailles and Octavian were at the Forgotten Ingredient, and was Safeguard there as well? I forget where Safeguard was moving about.
I'd probably be at the Forgotten Ingredient, yeah.
Great. So I'll let you all decide where we begin.
I believe Octavian was going towards the Vandor camp, so
Yes.
because I have to talk to Felix and figure out what the fuck is up with between them and Queen soldiers.
Okay. So you are headed to Soldier's Rest to take stock of what's happening with the Vanadori.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was prepping to do that, like all of last session. So while Ren was doing his thing, Octavian would have probably already been there.
Okay. Would anyone have accompanied you, or is it a solo? Is it a solo errand?
I asked last session if Safeguard wanted to come along, so to be kind of like, we got me on one side and them on the other.
I have to assume that Versailles would be interested, but it's up to Elaine.
What's up to me?
Elaine.
Oh, up to Elaine. Sorry, I misheard that.
Up to a leg.
I literally, I started listening at the apple.
She probably would have accompanied Octavian just to see if there was anyone there that she recognized.
Okay.
Would Octavian be okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
No, he's going to tell her to go to her room.
Oh.
He could try.
She can make her own decisions.
Of course. Wow, we have 3 viewers. Johan. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Está muy bien. ¿Y tú? Well, he said, ¿Cómo está? Excellent. So, Octavian and the 3 of you, is that correct? Leg, are you accompanying them to the Vanadori camp?
Yes.
Great. So the 3 of you, as you make your way across the city, it'd be rather uneventful. I think by this time, could we say it would probably be early afternoon? I'm thinking, based on what time you got up and the meeting with the others.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right, yeah.
Sure. So yeah, early afternoon. Certainly, you would see some activity, and you would be able to make your way across the city. Certainly, as you get into Mongerton. You leave Shattered Square, you would see, there's a lot of fortifications there because, that's where the Queen has her base set up. Number 8 on the map is the Temple of Valkyr. As you cross the Shattered Square and you make your way into Mongerton, outside the city walls, you'd see that things are a little bit less organized. Certainly a lot of houses have been burned out. A lot of things have been looted. People have taken wood and stone to build different things, certainly repurposing a lot of building materials, things like that. But you would come to what you remembered as Soldier's Rest, and you would actually notice as I turn tempo down a smidge. Yes, as you approach the camp, you would see that it looks actually similar to Wolfhair's camp that you saw before. They've organized it a bit. They've built up some walls around it in a very Vanadory fashion. There are tents and different houses, different buildings that have been built up, organized roughly, not as organized as Wolfhair's, of course, but certainly a similar style. And as you enter, you would see reasonably formidable guard detachment, several guards sort of standing there, and there's figures on horseback making their way around the perimeter, and a few heads would look up to see who you are as you're approaching.
Let's see.
And I have a map.
Oh.
Because of course I do. So you would be entering from the south, from the southwest. You'd be coming this way.
All right. Let's see. Well, I'll keep going forward. These two gentlemen stop me, or
Every week we say we're going to fix safeguards token, and I forget.
Do it right now, right this second. Do not do a single thing until you do it.
Okay. There. That should be fine. As you enter, they sort of give you a look, and they exchange glances with each other, and they would say, "Hold there. You look familiar."
It has been quite some time since my last visit.
One of them looks at. Do you have your capelet on, or is it hidden away?
Oh yeah, no, it's on now.
Great.
It was off before,
Yes.
because we had to be stealthy.
Yes, just checking. Noticing that, one of them would say, "Praetor, welcome back. I hope you'll be pleased with what we've done. Where, if you don't mind my asking, where have you been?"
Lost. Story for another time. Where is Felix?
The proconsul. Right this way. And they would direct you down the path towards a central building where you would see the familiar figure, actually, of Proconsul Felix, if you follow this way.
Yeah, I see him.
Yep, you walk through the camp. You do see a lot of activity. And Versailles, I assume that you're following behind?
Yeah. I gotta reload my map, so it might take me a second.
No problemo. And you notice that he is directing some people. There's some people sawing wood, and they're trying to build up some sort of a structure on this building. They're fixing it up. Looks like there could have been a problem with the roof. And he would look and say, "Do my eyes deceive me, or is that Praetor Octavian Calventius?"
I am still among the living, Felix, despite many things' best efforts.
Well,
I'll go out to kind of shake his hand and do the thing where you grab the wrist,
of
kind of
course.
thing.
Yes, of course. You'd notice that his face seems like it has a few more lines than before. It seems like maybe he hasn't been sleeping well. And he would say, "Are you... I'm afraid to ask, but are you here to join us?"
In the war to liberate Hannon from Zealots? Absolutely.
I'll tell you that we've been doing our best, but we've done well enough, but we barely have a full cohort ready to go. There was several who were loyal to, you might remember, Quinturio Flax, quite capable general, but the fever took him this past winter, unfortunately. And you would know that this was one of the more senior people who was here last year when you visited.
I assume they're no longer on the island then.
The island. They're no longer among the living.
Oh. Well, no. I meant like the people that were loyal to him.
Oh. He says several who were loyal to Quinturio, they did leave to become sellswords, finding opportunities in Gion or even in the hills of Han here. I've sent riders to call them back, but he gestures to the forces. He says, I would say we could put perhaps 150 soldiers on the field, divided into 2 centuries. It's possible, with some luck. They can be ready.
Well, that is good. Felix, I am here on behalf of the Queen. I have accompanied with me her spear, Safeguard.
Ah, the first spear of Hannon. Welcome, and he would give you a deep bow, Safeguard.
No need for all the respect.
And this, to my right, is Versailles, a scout of another legion I found along our that has joined us in my travels.
Ah, a lost Vanadori. Well, welcome. I would say welcome home, but this is the best we can do for now. You are most welcome.
Trust me, it feels more like home than you know.
He would say, there is something troubling me.
Well, I'm here to solve some of these problems. But what is troubling you, Felix?
He would gesture across the way, and he would say, follow me if you would. And he would lead you over here, past some of the guards and some of the soldiers walking around. He would lead you over here, where you would see a few people sparring in a circle. And he would say, the twins, Luca and Luna, brother, the niece and nephew of Quintorion. They're quite capable, but you would notice 2 figures, undeniably Vanadori with sort of dark features and sort of flowing dark hair. And they would say, they have much of his spirit, they just need to learn discipline. I am too old to teach it, they won't listen to me. They have little respect for politicians, even a retired one. Auntie has had to patch them up more than once, following a spar gone too far. But with...
These are the ones that you're expecting to lead our detachments.
Well, they do have the name recognition. With their Uncle Quintorian gone, they could earn the respect of some of his faithful who are still here. And there are the younger ones here. They do respect them.
I suppose I can put them through the ringer. One of my other concerns is that the Queen tells me that there has been some friction between people and her men. And if we are to free these lands, we will need to be on the same page. You enlighten me on what sort of issues are being had.
Thank you for the tip, Johan. Unnecessary, but we appreciate it. We will put it towards maps and things to make the stream better. Thank you.
Money.
Yes. Very nice, Johan. Thank you. Or should I say Ra? Felix would look at you and say, it's true, there are those here who think this is not our fight. And by truth be told, Octavian, there are times that they make quite compelling points. But you know as well as I do that the former king of Hannon, Sivan, he was more than generous to give us these lands and to allow us to settle here. So I think that this has become, for lack of any other option, our home, and we should defend it.
True. It would do well to recognize the strength that our meager numbers have. But perhaps a meeting to settle differences with a guiding hand from myself and the Queen's Spear. Will perhaps ease some of these tensions and show that we are on the same side here.
Mhm. You know, Octavian, as well as I, that the Vanadori, even the younger among us, respect valor in battle. They respect a brave warrior, and of course, they do know the spear safeguard by reputation. And your scout, your name, Versailles, you said?
Yes.
Is your bow visible, Versailles? Do you have it in your hand or over your back?
She has it on her back, and she has her swords on her hips.
Excellent. By the look of you, you would be just as formidable, so perhaps their respect and their attention will not be so hard earned.
Versailles will lean into Octavian. Should we inform them that the Emperor is still alive?
I was getting to that. Felix, there is another matter that I wish to discuss with you, and with my allies privately.
Ah, I see, of course.
As you are the leader of this community, I believe it is important that you know where we speak.
Well, the building, if you don't mind a hole in the roof, we can go to my quarters. As he turns to leave to walk back the way he came, you would see the male twin pick up the other one and throws her into one of the tents, which collapses. The pole falls down. He starts laughing, and a few of the soldiers begin laughing. And Felix just
deal with them in a moment.
He just shakes his head and starts walking away, and he would lead you back to this central building and ask his fellow country people to see that you're not disturbed.
Are we sitting down at like a table or something?
Yes, a rough-hewn wooden table, sort of like a dining table, which seems like it's seen better days, but you do have some chairs that look like they've been created more recently by someone with great skill as a woodworker. And Felix would bring to the table a jug of water, some glasses. He does have a bottle of wine, and he also has a platter with bread and olives. Of course, as close to the traditional Vanadori type as they're able to grow here. Please, a taste of home, perhaps, Versailles.
I'm fine, thank you.
So, before I say anything, I'm gonna go and pull the hilt out of where I keep it, kind of on the back side of my belt, and put it on the table right in front of him.
Felix was pouring himself a glass of wine. As you do this, he looks and he keeps pouring it, and it starts overflowing. And his hands are trembling. He puts the bottle down. Is that what I think it is?
It is.
How did you come across such an artifact? It was thought to be lost in the ruins of Tychon.
Not so. In fact, it was taken from Tychon long before the Senate disbanded. You see, Felix, after the last time that I was here, we made our way back across Hannan to deal with some other things on the other side of the island. After leaving the port of Aronsport, where the original abbot met his end, we made our way to what's the other elf city over there?
Eristarine?
Yeah, made our way to Eristarine. We had a meeting with someone they called a curator. One of these mystics. And she tricked us, as most fey creatures do, leading us deep within the Verwood, stranded, and without a guide. But there we encountered something very strange.
In the barrel.
Sighs deep. Yes, he sighs kind of deeply. Wolfir and his legion still live.
Ah, a wizard's trick, nothing more.
Priscilla reached into her belt and pulled out her brooch that shows the official seal of the Emperor's Legion, signifying her rank as one of the top scouts.
His jaw just sort of hangs slack.
That's where I met her.
You could say we were lost for quite some time.
Wolfhair has been lost in the wood this whole time?
Yes.
It's complicated.
The Verderwood is a mystical place. It was only a matter of months for them. And that is why for us, despite me and my group being there for not but a week or so, 6 months have gone by.
You must remember, Octavian, that not I never had his ear, but there were the senators who would whisper to Wolfhair. Even the ones who were most on his side cautioned him against entering that wood.
Well, one of the very same attempted to brandish this against me, against us, in looking to Versailles, claiming her to be a traitor and whatever, a power trip this young man was on. He has been dealt with, and the Emperor has seen, well, Wolfir has seen, at least I hope, the error of his ways.
Oh, what was his name?
Gabriel Costa. Costa or Costas?
Costas.
Gabriel something, yeah.
Yeah. Ha! That social climbing prat, I'm not surprised. Always licking at Wolfhair's boots.
Yes. But I have recovered this. I do not deserve to wield it, but it has proved to be a useful tool. And this is my promise to our people. I have come across many things since then. A potential cure for the plague that still lingers around Typhon. As well as truth in regards to our fall. Wolfir and his legion have been escorted out of Verderwood. Some allies we made within know it well.
Oh,
By
the elves took pity on him and showed him the way out?
not the elves, denizens of the Verderwood. Dryads, I believe they are called.
Yes.
Yes, tree striders. They were not welcome. The Verderwood does not take kindly to those that destroy it, and it was very hostile to them. We managed to negotiate, and they were able to be on their way. By now, they should be at the outskirts of the Griffith Forest, licking their wounds and readjusting themselves. Once we are done here, I plan to join them, and we will take back the city.
And his hand reaches out to you, sort of trembling, and he says, "But Octavian, we must be very careful. If those outside hear word of this, they might rush back there to join him."
I know. That is why I am telling you, so I can let you know what is on the line.
But, and he sort of looks down. He looks troubled. He says, "But can we let them risk their lives and perhaps die, not knowing what?" And he's just shaking his head. He seems very conflicted.
Hannon is our ally. We swore an oath long ago to protect the Empire and its allies. What would we be if we abandoned them here now?
Exactly. We will earn support, much needed support, to do this. We free these lands from the zealots that claim dominion over it. Once we do that, We are free to do as we wish. But I made a promise. I made a promise to the Queen's daughter, and the Queen herself, that this would be taken care of first.
Of course.
Vested interest as well.
Of course, it is worth reminding them that, to your point, Versailles, that the princess's older brother gave his life in defense of Vanador. He was destined to be king. Now his bones rest in what's left of our old country. If he could make that sacrifice for us, the least we can do is to help his mother be rid of this tyranny.
Exactly. I just want you to understand what is at stake. There is another thing. Oh, what were you going to say?
No, he just laughs and he says, he gestures to the hilt and then to the brooch, and then he says, between everything you've told me, the only thing that could make it more complicated is if you told me that Terracin was on her way. And he sort of laughs, takes a sip of his wine.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention that.
Yeah, Versailles will just ignore that last part.
just side glance.
Could you both imagine?
Yeah.
Haha, who's Terracin?
There is another matter, Felix. I told you I uncovered other truths. I can tell you now that the fall of Tychon, our people, in many ways it was orchestrated by this curator I mentioned. Have you ever wondered why it, seemingly out of the blue, a member of, a high-profile noble of the Zanari court came to wed Bravin II? Was it Bravin II or the first?
First.
To wed Bravin I. And that on his deathbed, their daughter was named Empress.
It was only the source of gossip for over a decade.
He'll see a very serious look in Octavian's face.
Say, but you know, Octavian, I fell on the side the same as you. That's when the Civil War seemed inevitable. That the Princess Terracin, she was a good woman. She wasn't. If there was any trickery, it wasn't her fault. I know this in my heart.
She would have made a fine empress, that is true. But understand this, Felix, there are great things at play. That right there, pointing to the hilt. That right there. You know the story of its origin, yes?
Well, of course, there's a tale that some of Wolfhair's allies, those who would whisper poison in his ear, would tell. But I know the true story, the one that I was taught as a child, that the founder, Vanad, his dream was one of peace. That he broke his sword in the ground when he founded Tychon. He turned the blade into a plow.
Yes. But those lands were gifted to the founder and our progenitors.
By the High Elves, yes, I've heard this.
A pact was made between Vanad and the curator. That so long as his blood sit upon the throne, those lands, the lands to the west of, what's the fucking river that's over there?
Oh, it has a couple names.
We'll just say to the west of the Verrawood.
Yeah,
The lands to the west of the Verrawood would belong to the humans.
It's the Great North River, they call it.
Yeah. Vanad's line has been for the most part unbroken since the founding. That would be until Tedison would have taken the throne. And with it, the pact would be broken. And the Curator would be able to act against it. The Curator is on a power trip. She's pulling power from other dimensions and causing rifts to darker places to open in the Verwood.
Now, wait 1 second, Octavian. You mean to tell me that one of the the mystics is not only real, but actively meddling in our affairs?
They have been for quite some time. As I told you, I've met with her, and she is aggravated that she is bound by forces of balance and wished to tip things in her scale, and wanted us to destroy one of her kin to remove the balance. We refused, and she simply cast us into the middle of the Verwood. I have never met someone as petty. For someone so powerful, they can be very petty. My concerns were elsewhere. Now it seems that my concerns have gone in a direction that she did not wish. But with Wolfir still alive, she has not been able to move anything beyond the Verwood, because the pact is still secured. If our people are to have a future, this must be true.
He sort of looks deeply at you, Octavian. He says, if it was anyone else telling me this, I'd have them locked up as insane. But because it's you, are you sure what you're telling me is the truth?
Have you ever known me to be a liar, Felix?
No, but this Verwood, I've heard stories that it can addle people's senses. But I've never known that. I wouldn't think that of you.
It is a confusing place. I can see why you would think that, but we were only there for a short while.
So
We had good guides. But having a guide through that can ease up on whatever influence the place may have. How?
And were your guides the same that guided Wolfhair to safety?
Yes.
Like, the less I know, the better.
In a sense.
Partially, someone adjacent to them, someone who is a native to those lands, and they still accompany us now. They have a vested interest in seeing what is beyond their little corner of the world.
I wasn't referring to that guide.
Oh, you weren't talking about B?
No.
Okay.
No, she was referring to the Bastion.
Oh,
Remember that thing was what took them out.
You had quite a lot of help, I think.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Don't forget Butter Dish.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
The ghosts.
Yeah, the extremely, extremely sus thing. I've never been more unreasonably paranoid in my life. I wasted every single resource I had to detect things.
Poison, undead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho. Either way. That is what is at stake, Felix. That is what I have encountered, and I will take the hilt and put it back. There are powerful forces at play, but with any luck, our people will have a future. A future that was robbed of them.
What do you both think? If those outside saw this symbol of Vanadori authority, it could stir them to action. But
it could also make them very angry.
And it will also raise questions.
When we travel to Tychon, I will present it. For now, our people need to focus on the task at hand. We do not need to think too much about the future. Let us focus on now.
Yes, we do have pressing issues.
Right. Well, I'll go speak with these twins. See what they're made of.
Mm-hmm. As you're doing that, let me think. So we have Ren and Saloon. We're leaving the inn, and then when Cake's ready, we'll check in with Ian Danrick.
Okay.
I didn't want to meta, but I thought, well, you could say that, Octavian, these past 6 months, you took a pilgrimage to Tychon and you found it amongst the rubble.
Again, Octavian's not a liar. Not in this instance.
Yeah. So it's irrelevant because it's meta, but it was just a thought.
Yeah. It's much easier to tell the truth than it is to concoct a lie.
I don't know. It depends on what your truth is and how good you are at lying.
Well,
true.
I have a pretty low charisma for a paladin, so we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, so Octavian will head to these folks.
Okay.
See what they're doing.
As you come back over, there's a few soldiers, and let's say each one represents more. But you would see them sitting, and the sister, they've cleaned up the tent that got knocked over a little bit, and they're trying to fix it up a little bit, and you see her sitting on the ground, and she has a cloth, and she's sort of dabbing blood at the corner of her mouth a little bit, and they're sort of shouting insults at each other a little bit.
Kind of approach between them. It was a good toss I saw earlier. And you have taken the impact in stride. Most commendable.
They look up at you and say, "That's the capelet of a praetor. What are you doing with it on?"
Because I am one. Octavian Calventius.
And they sort of look at each other, and they start laughing.
Do you doubt me?
No, but Octavian Calventus is lost with the elves, the last we heard.
It's true, he was. But he is here now, standing before you. Not lost.
There's some whispering amongst the other soldiers, and one of them seems to recognize you and says, "It is him." And then the twins sort of look at you a little bit more seriously and say, "Got tired of the elves then, did you? Decided to come back and fight?"
My journey across the sea was one of necessity. I spent some time lost, sure, but I learned many things. But I remembered that I made a promise to somebody here, somebody of import. And I remembered the promise that our people have made to the people of Hannon. That these lands are our allies, and we will treat them the same as we would our own. That is why I am here, to free them from the tyranny that plagues this place. And that is why we are here, preparing for war. But it seems there are some problems, some issues that we're without leadership. Unless one of you has taken up that mantle.
The brother looks at you and says, he sounds like Uncle Quinturian. What do you think? And the sister spits blood on the ground and says, a bit. There's no leadership problem here. We have things well in hand, and if you can take orders, I think you'll fit in nicely.
So, that's how it is. Tell me, do you know of what the battle plans are? Have you considered anything beyond your little disagreements and your sparring matches here?
We don't need battle plans. You know, one Vanadori's worth 10 of them. Everyone knows that.
In perfect form, yes. How about this? The two of you show me what you're made of, and I will determine whether or not you are fit to lead.
Mm-hmm. They look at each other. The brother sort of rolls up his sleeve, and he says, whenever you're ready.
Can I size both of them up real quick?
Sure.
What do you want me to make for that to...
Oh, perception maybe would be good, or...
17.
Yeah, I mean, they appear to be in their mid to late 20s, and very fit. They seem to be in very good shape.
Okay, so...
And they look older than Versailles, technically.
That's true.
But I'm also looking at, like, well, I probably can't tell that from where they are now. I could just see they have a lot of youthful vigor to them.
Exactly. You're getting, with your passive insight, you're getting the impression that they're just, they're joking around and they're not really taking this very seriously.
Okay. If they're not going to take it seriously, then I will take it seriously and show them how wrong they are.
Okay.
Level 11, what can they do to me?
We're practically gods.
We're gods! Jumps off cliff.
Oh god, don't tell me that we're gods.
Don't evoke that evil.
The sister would
don't evoke that evil, dude. That'll go to my head.
The sister would cast Force Cage. No, come on. Yeah, so I mean, they would pick up some short swords, and the brother steps forward, sister steps forward, and he says, "Ladies first," and she's coming to square off with you.
All right, hold on.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to move you, Versailles.
No, I was getting ready to move Versailles anyways.
I misclicked.
All right, how do you want to do this, Alice?
Is there a way to do it without like a big initiative whole half hour thing?
I mean, if it's 1-on-1, I was thinking 2-on-1, and just
Oh.
show them how fucked they are.
Sure.
Do you want to do like straight like combat rules, or maybe like contested skill checks or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the rest of the players to have to wait 40 minutes while we, while we go through.
Why don't we just like theater of the mind it a little bit?
Yeah,
and
that's
just
yeah, that's cool.
all right. So, what I will do is let's say for like the opening bit, I'll let them
Yeah.
get the first hits, but I'm gonna do like the dodge action, so I'm gonna be ready to defend.
Sure. So as you're standing there, sort of waiting, Luna is going to come up and she's going to make a multi-attack with the short sword. She's going to just step up to you, and that is going to be an 8. You're doing dodge, so it's
Disadvantage.
yeah. So that is okay. That was with disadvantage, an 11.
Yes.
Okay. And then the brother sort of chuckles, and he's gonna sneak kind of up. Not sneak, but he's going to come around the other side. And he's going to make a couple of weapon attacks. That is a 24 with disadvantage.
Disadvantage 24. Okay, that hits.
Yeah, and that would be 7 slashing.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And he'd say, "Come on, old man, before you get hurt."
A good hit. I felt worse, and I'm going to kind of kick off my feet and go for like a feint towards the sister, but I'm gonna spin and I'm gonna go against the brother. Bonus action, fighting spirit.
Okay.
I'm gonna get advantage. And 5 temp HP, and then I'll non-lethally go for some attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 27 with advantage.
Ooh. Okay, big hit.
Another one.
Wow.
Natural 20. I'm not gonna do any.
What's the total there? That's
It's first group to the 8, the 6.
okay, but then that
Because
next
he's not.
one's a
It's
crit.
not. This one is the undead slayer blade.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Got it. Okay, so that's 14, 23 damage. Ah.
How's he looking?
Where are you hitting him? Just center mass, or you?
So with this one, kind of pull the blade out. I'm going to kind of slap it against his, like, really hard against the joint in his leg, and then kind of spin around and flat and like right across his face.
Ooh. With the crit, yeah, you're gonna drop him to his knee, and then as it comes across his face, there's going to be a trickle of blood sort of coming out of his nose as he closes his eye, and he looks like he's in pain.
Okay, action surge. And I'm gonna attempt to knock him out.
Wow.
Still have advantage. So it's a 20. Oh, that's the wrong weapon. It's a higher, a 28.
Wow. Okay. Another 11 slashing.
Yeah. Non-lethal.
Yeah. He goes down.
Okay. So as he's there catching his
Those are
kinda,
some great
like-
rolls, Octavian.
I got one more in me.
Yeah.
As he's kind of wiping the blood
Hmm.
out of his mouth, I'm just gonna like thrust my entire weight behind my shield and knock him flat on his ass. I'm gonna turn to the sister. I got one more in me. 13.
13 would miss.
No, 13 damage. So that's a 26.
Oh, sorry. I just heard a 13. Yep. Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna drop a smite on that one.
Oh, come on.
Well, actually, no. I'm
I
not
don't
going
care.
to.
I'm just kidding.
Nah, I don't know. I don't think if I put a smite on it, I can rule it as non-lethal. So just gonna then kind of spin and let's see. What am I gonna do? I'll go and kind of drop it down on whichever side looks like her dominant shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Your move.
She looks at her brother who just got the shit pummeled out of him, and she says, "You son of a!" And she's gonna make a couple of multi attacks. Are these straight rolls?
Yeah, straight rolls now.
Okay. So that is a miss, and she's gonna get for a 26.
Okay, that hits.
She's gonna try and get a good hit on you for only 6 slashing.
Okay.
And she looks very angry, and she's coming at you.
All right. All right, my turn. My turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Trying to think. Yeah. I'm just gonna go and hit her again. An 11.
Okay,
So-
11. Yeah. She would as she's yep. Yeah, she sidesteps one, walks right into the second one.
Yeah. All right.
What do you do on that second one? You're just kind of slashing.
With that one, I'm gonna go and try and I'm gonna kind of, with the edge of the shield, kind of go for the center mass and kind of push her back, kind of knock the wind out of her a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like she'd be sort of because all her momentum was coming at you. So then, as you sidestep that one, and then you're coming back at her, I think you'd be able to get her back on her heels, and she's gonna fall over, and she's gonna attempt to scramble over to check on her brother. She's let her weapon. She's gonna drop her weapon, and she's crawling over to. And she says, "Luca," and she's running over.
I put my blade down, in between, interposing. He goes, "We're not done. You still have to fight me. If you wish to save your brother, you must defeat me." Granted, he's not dying. I just knocked him off the ass.
Sure.
So, I'm treating this with sincerity.
Sure. Okay, so
And
it's her turn.
Versailles just watching.
Octavian gives young soldiers PTSD.
Man, they ain't seen war.
Mm,
They need a hard dose of reality.
yeah.
So I'll assume with my bonus action, basically, I interpose,
Yeah.
and say that, and basically, in a real fight, somebody would have cut your head off. Now stand and face me,
Mhm.
and that'll be my turn.
Okay. So yeah, she's gonna wipe the blood off her mouth, and she's gonna say, "Have it your way," and she's gonna pick up her sword, and she's gonna come at you. Straight rolls.
Yep.
That is a 20 to hit, and that is going to be 5 slashing, and then an 18 to hit.
Miss.
Okay, and she's going to action surge, and she's very angry. She's doing it again. 9 would miss, and then that's a 26 for 6 slashing.
Okay.
And you see the blood is coming out of her mouth a little bit. That wound that she was nursing before on her lip is just opened right back up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it seems you have found your fighting spirit. Let me show you mine. And then, bonus action. I'm gonna pop the celestial revelation.
Ooh, fancy.
Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna scoot around the side. I'm gonna tell these folks to back up. That way, he's out of the radius, I think. Hold on, let me double check.
You want the 3 others to back up?
Yeah, because they're gonna get caught in it. Well, no, they'll be fine.
And just so
Never
you have an idea of the situation, there's probably like 24 people at this point circling around watching this.
Yeah. Well, this causes guaranteed damage, so
Yeah.
that's kind of why. So I'm gonna back up around the side, and in a flash, there's this burst of that cyan light
Oh,
as
yeah.
the wings, the spectral tendrily wings come out, and just the area around Octavian gets noticeably warmer. And he's gonna go in and hit her. Yeah, an 11 again. Goddamn. It's a fucking 2 on the die. All right, try again. 25. And there's four radiant damage on that one.
Okay.
What was that?
No, I got it. So that's 15 total?
Yeah.
Okay.
Non-lethal, but with this one, there's going to be like some extra heat applied to the force of his swings.
Is it well known? What was it well known that you are an Azamar, or is that more or less not well known?
I would say only people that personally knew Octavian would know that, or people that were well educated on like the more fantastical things.
Sure.
So for common rank and file soldier, and especially for these people who would have been like 10 or whatever, like 15, they'd be teenagers when everything happened, they probably wouldn't know. But you could clearly tell that Octavian is not 100% human because of his skin tone.
That's true.
So they know that there's something weird about me, but they probably wouldn't know specifically. Like, they would know I'm not 100% human. Some people, there was probably like a rumor like, oh, he's like a half elf with a skin condition or something.
Yeah.
It's probably some funny rumors like that, but no, I am in full ASMR mode right now.
Got it.
At the end of my turn, she takes 4 radiant damage as well.
Okay, so that's 15. She's looking quite bloodied, and she just looks up at you, and she says, "What are you?"
A better fighter.
And she looks over at the form of her unconscious brother, and she's going to give you a battle cry, and she's going to come at you with what she has left in the tank. Straight roll, that is a 24.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be for 5 slashing. Terrible roll. And then another one. That's a miss. And she's going to fall down as she slashes at you and she misses. Her sword goes into the grass and she falls down on one knee and she's just kind of holding the side of her face. And she goes, I yield.
All right. I'm on my turn, so bear with me for a second. Let's see. Octavian's just gonna raise his sword in the air. He's got this kind of like glowy aura around him, and I'm gonna bring it down, blade out, but I'm going to stop, like, half an inch, like a quarter of an inch from her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll deactivate my my thing. Oops. There we go. It was a good warrior fights to the last breath. A wise warrior knows when they are beat. I'll sheathe and kind of offer a hand out to lift her up.
Yeah, she's tossed her blade aside, and she would take your hand, and her eyes are just on you as she gets up. One hand is sort of kind of hold her lip closed, and there's just blood sort of just flowing over her hand, and she's looking at you, and then she sort of looks over her shoulder at her brother, who's just kind of stirring.
As I'm picking her up, I'll drop 5 lay on hands into her, kind of heal the wound.
Yeah, that would you would see her lips sort of begin to close a little bit as the blood is staunched.
I'll move
and
over.
Versailles helping the brother sit up.
Yeah. And I'll bring him back to consciousness with another 5, if you'll allow me.
Sure. And there's definitely there's a lot of chatter from the crowd who was watching this, who came out of the tents, and the folks who were there before.
All right.
And as you look up Octavian, you would notice with your passive perception that Felix had caught the end of that, and he's just grinning at you.
You have skill, the both of you. You're competent warriors. You lack discipline. You lack experience. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how fast you are, or how clever you are. Up against a superior opponent, You will need to apply all of that, and so much more. Zealots that we will be facing soon. They cavort with forces beyond the mortal realm. Demons. Spellcasters. And they are powered by something far greater than discipline, fanaticism, and fear. You will have to be better than all of that. That is my lesson to you.
There's some chattering from the crowd. You know, there's some people. A couple people are very into it, and they're like, "Octavian, lead us!"
I will lead you to our enemy. My battlefield is elsewhere. We will march upon the hold. We will march upon Haverhill very soon. But old souls like myself not lead us into the future. But what we can do is guide those that will replace us. I'm looking to the two here. I look to the twins. Tell me your names.
The girl says, "Luna," and this is, and the boy stands up. He says, "Luca, Flax," and you would know that their uncle was Quinturian Flax.
And he was a accomplished general.
He was.
You have some large shoes to fill. But thankfully, with two of you, I think you will both fit.
Versailles, you would notice that Felix had kind of walked over to kind of stand next to you.
She'll look at him, just trying to judge what he's going to do.
And he would just kind of lean in and say, "Octavian does love his speeches, doesn't he?"
In the short time I've known him, it does seem to help a little bit, I guess. I've heard much longer-winded ones.
He chuckles.
Hi.
Hi, Leg.
Hello.
Yeah, what's Safeguard been doing this whole time?
I literally watched the entire thing just silently.
Okay, good.
Just menacing this giant metal person.
Jojo menacing.
Yeah.
Are you mounted, Safeguard?
No, not at all.
Okay, because you'd be like 12 feet tall.
I do not need to be intimidating at the moment.
Too late.
Yeah, I know.
I think your principles of war are old, Octavian, just like you. You speak some truth, though. Good job.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Some of it is. Sorry to tell you the truth.
Nonetheless, you two. You two, lick your wounds. We will be discussing what the plan of attack is soon.
They would nod, and as they go to rejoin their friends, you would notice.
I would call to them. Actually, I need to tell them something.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you could catch their attention. Safeguard.
Know that despite the fact that you were bested by this old man, that you are strong, and you are stronger together. Rely on your allies.
They would give you a nod, and Luca, he goes to shake your hand, Octavian, with the the forearm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says,
I-
"For Vanador."
Vanador.
And you'd notice as they go to rejoin the crowd, there are some people are congratulating them a bit, and they're saying, "You fought the Praetor Octavian. You know, and they're kind of
And survived.
yeah.
It's kind of a backhanded compliment if you think about it.
Yeah.
I'll wave
But
and
take your
say,
victories where you can.
"Dear, bless your day."
Yeah. The younger of them were very impressed, you know, you can tell.
Just imagine Octavian being like, I got you for 3 minutes.
Yeah, that kind of was my bow saw is ready moment.
Nah, this was Octavian's Undertaker moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the ground, do the sit up. Alright, anyways.
You would see a familiar figure pop out of a tent and begin checking them over. She has bandages and different things, and she looks over. She gives you a nod, and you'd recognize Nori the Dawnbringer, who they call Auntie. She's the cleric of Lathander, who you met before.
Oh, okay. I barely remember her, but yes.
She was in like one episode for 10 minutes.
Okay. See, Felix, a little tough love goes a long way.
Well, you knocked them on their ass, and it appears to have, well, they seem to have somehow earned respect through it. I don't know how that works, but the evidence is in front of us.
Well, did you ever serve time, Felix?
What, in prison?
I mean, did you... Okay, let me rephrase that. Did you ever serve the Legion in your youth, Felix?
Oh, yes, everyone had to. Yes, I did for perhaps 4 years, I think it was, before I was elected to the Senate.
Hmm.
I did my duty to the Empire.
You did. But for one who lives the Legion, there are some things that don't need to be said.
Mm-hmm. He'd say, there are things that I never fully understood, but as much as the politics of the capital were, I think, sometimes more deadly than the battlefield. That's a discussion for another day.
Well, the enemy that you can see is always the one that is easiest to fight.
Yes, it's true.
Nonetheless. Look to Safeguard. Safeguard, in your discussions with the Queen, are we expecting to have a strategy meeting in the coming days?
Oh, 100% yes. Soon. As soon as possible.
Well, I think when our scouts return, we'll likely be able to engage on that. Perhaps later this... No, you said it'd be around like a day round trip, so they'll be back like tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Tomorrow morning, then. Same place we've met her before? The temple?
Yeah, of course.
Felix, yourself and your commanding officers over there do well to be at this meeting.
He would say, we have been graced by the presence of Her Majesty once before. It would be a great honor to go to call upon her.
Despite their blustering over there, we need a plan. We have some scouts performing some reconnaissance over different avenues that we will be taking. At the moment, taking Haverhill is of utmost priority. After that, things become a bit more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But
He'd say,
go ahead.
No, he would just say that there are some rumors that the foe in the hold is not exactly human, and I don't mean the elf.
Well, I will tell you this, Felix. There are dark forces at play. Last night, the three of us and a few others... Is there still like a big crowd around us?
No, they filtered back, and there. Yeah, there's no big crowd.
I'll have him come a bit closer. There was an assassination attempt on the Queen last night. We thwarted it. We found that the perpetrator was put in place on recommendation from the Cheese Right. We went to arrest him. And, well, he is not as he seems. Fiends at his beck and call. He himself one in disguise, though I did not see.
The cheese fellow.
Yes.
Well, he just sent us a case of lovely young Havarti with dill. Quite tasty. You don't think it's tainted, do you?
I do not think so. Does not seem the type to, Well, let me take a look at it first. Has anybody eaten it?
I'm not sure.
I'll take a look at it before I leave.
You know where I came up with Havarti with dill?
That's what you're eating.
Yeah, I'm like, I looked at my dish. I'm like, oh yes, it's very good.
Anywho, he escaped as far as I know. But his cohorts were dealt with. The Queen's Guard are aware. But that is why the specialists are here. We will handle those foes. With any luck, you will only have to turn your blades against other people.
What I'm trying to counsel the younger of our forces here is that we need not kill all of the vigilant. If we can force them to submit, the less blood spilled, the better. The Queen has been very clear from the messages we've received. We should avoid unnecessary death.
True. That will be an advantage on their part. For those that do not wish to surrender, they will give no quarter, but we will hold back. That puts us at a major disadvantage. Speaking from experience, if they do not surrender, cross the battle lines before we begin to march, then they are fair game. They chose to stay, and they must live or die with those consequences.
It's true. There are those among them who are zealots, but there's others who simply feel that they're following their god. And for them, I do wish mercy if possible. I understand it. On the battlefield, as you said, we don't always have the luxury of perfect justice.
No. But we will expose whatever it is that sits on that throne. If it were a god, that would be... I don't think we would be having this discussion right now. So we will expose the lies. Put them in their place.
Yes.
With any luck, the hold itself will be spared.
Frankly, anybody who knows anything about magic knows that it's completely unreasonable to think that Tyr is actually physically sitting on the throne, as the aspect of Tyr could not physically enter into our plane.
Well, not everybody is as well educated as you are, Safeguard.
I'm not sure if it's necessarily education as much as common sense.
The nature of the divine is a mysterious thing.
Just go to church.
I mean, even then, I always feel like the metaphysics of, like, that stuff is only understood by, like, the most powerful, like, clerics and spellcasters and shit like that.
I mean, that's something entirely up to DM's discretion, too.
That's true. I mean, that's true. But everything that I've seen from what Ellis is going for, it seems like the common folk are pretty,
Stupid.
you know, not necessarily stupid. They're very much medieval peasants, you know.
Job's done, my lord.
Ain't no siege in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
I'd vote for you.
I mean, just think about how dumb the average person is, right? And
Yeah.
all the peasants are dumber than that. Until they
That's
seize,
kind of sad.
until they seize the means of production, right? Like,
Alice, we're not supposed to talk about that on your stream.
oh, sorry. Excellent. So yes, Felix would just add. It's occurred to me that if Tyr, the actual Tyr, came to Halcyon, it would crack reality in half, and none of us would live to tell the tale. But I'm not as well read as you all in these ecclesiastical matters.
As I said, it matters not what the facts are, it matters what people believe. Right now, the only thing we can do is what we are trained to do. Now, rally the men, them ready to march within, say, 36 hours.
Mhm.
Well, no, at this point, with the point in the day, say 24. So we're probably, once we go over the plans, we're probably gonna start moving.
Mhm.
Because I think we have much everything taken care of. And make sure you are at the Temple of Valkyr tomorrow morning with those two, and any others that need to be a part of that discussion.
Indeed, I will see to it, Praetor.
Very good. We'll see to this issues with the Queen's forces. It's good to see you, Felix.
I think that you three coming here will. I won't put the pressure on you to say that it will turn the tide, but can't hurt.
Well, believe me, pressure is all I am feeling right now, but I work well under it. With that, I will take my leave.
Excellent.
Unless anybody else has anything.
Anything from Versailles or Safeguard before we start?
Nope, we can leave.
I say Versailles will just take back her brooch, and that's about it.
Yes.
And give him a, head bow of respect.
Mm-hmm. He would attempt to shake your hand, Versailles, and say, "Well met. When this is over, I'd very much like to hear the tales of your service," he says, sort of obliquely.
Perhaps once all this business is done, not just here, but even back home.
And he sort of, actually, at this, he becomes a little wistful, and he says, "I have to admit that I've thought of this place for some time as home. To think that someday we could go back to the north. I don't dare to hope. One thing at a time."
So she'll obviously be shaking his hand back, clasping his forearm, and then just nod again.
Yes, excellent.
And then take her leave.
Excellent. I'd like to get to cake in a minute. Let me think for 7. Yeah, let's check in on Varn. Vorm, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Vorm. How are you?
I'm all right.
Do you have Roll20 open?
Yes.
Varn is at the bar with the bearded dwarf eating hot wings. How's it going with Varn?
Varn is very much disappointed. He was promised hot wings, and he's got wings. So, very much not happy right now.
Richard sees your look of distaste and says, "What's wrong, little master? Not to your liking."
These are terrible.
I can assure you.
I know there's a war going on. These are not hot wings.
Well, they're quite fresh. They're not spicy enough.
No!
Oh, I think we can.
Do I look like I'm crying right now?
I think we can do something about that. And he would take the plate away, and you'd see him throw them out, and he's going to disappear into the kitchen.
You have to do that.
What beverage would Varn have chosen?
Nothing.
Oh no, nothing. Okay.
No, he's drinking the hot sauce.
Great. After about 10 minutes, Richard would come back out, and the barmaid, tries to take the plate to serve it and get napkins and stuff. He just waves her away. He's going to come around and place in front of you what looks like a very large turkey leg, and it has sort of a deep maroon color. It seems to be glistening a bit. Say, please. Speciality de la maison.
Varn blinks at him, picks up the turkey leg, and just starts eating it.
Great. Let's have a Constitution saving throw from Varn.
Oh, con save. I win.
You would notice, you would feel this wave of heat as you take a bite, sort of spread through your mouth, sort of down your throat, and then as you swallow, it's warming you from inside, and you almost feel like you're about to start sweating. There's some beads of sweat on your forehead and around your ears, but then you're able to shake it off, and you think that it's very delicious, and it's probably exactly what you're looking for.
This is much better.
I'm so pleased to hear that. That'll be 2 gold.
I said better. I didn't say good.
1 gold?
Okay.
I have a feeling Varn would often drink some of the acid bombs and stuff at the alchemy shop.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
This is apple juice. No.
Spicy apple juice.
Well, you know.
I just had a weird
The
flashback.
goblins were red.
Yeah. When you said spicy apple juice, I had a weird flashback to my childhood. There was a movie with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel called Little Monsters.
I loved
Yes.
it as a kid.
Okay,
That sounds familiar.
I'm like, am I the only one who knows this movie?
No.
They wanted to get back at one of the bullies, so they drank his apple juice, and then the monster like peed in the bottle. And I'll just leave it there. For some reason, that popped in my head when you said that. That movie scared the shit out of me. Like bad guy boy. Like weird. I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to watch it until much later on, so I wasn't really over affected with it. But...
Yeah, I remember my mom was like, "Oh, Howie Mandel's super funny. You'll like this. It has the kid from Wonder Years," and I had nightmares for like 5 years.
And Alice walked away scarred.
I've also seen Little Monsters.
Yeah, they're called kids.
That's not like the Blue Monster,
monster.
but
Gotcha. I didn't really have anything else.
Yes. So Varn, would you be hanging out more, or would you run after Ren and Saloon, the direction they went?
I mean, he's definitely going and finishing the chicken leg.
Sure.
Or the turkey leg.
Yeah. Excellent.
And he's probably going after those wings that were thrown out. They weren't good, but they were. I mean, they're still wings. You have to eat them.
It's a George Costanza. They're right on top of the trash, so you could just get them right back up.
I mean, in all fairness, Varn's a goblin.
Yeah.
I really don't think he gives a damn.
No. Excellent. And just to close the loop, I would like to give my seal of approval to this Apothic Dark. It is quite good. Thumbs up from the Bound Bowman.
Apothic Dark.
Yeah, it's actually. I was very skeptical because it's a blend. I don't do a lot of blends, but it's very.
It's a wine.
Yeah, it's very.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm like, this isn't the hot sauce, is it?
No. Richard would say, we have a special this week. Oh, we could do like product tie-ins. No. So, with your permission, Vorm, I will cut over to Ren and Saloon, and we'll check in with Varn. You can either
have at it.
Whenever you like.
After Varn goes and finishes the wings, after the leg, he'd take off.
Great. Varn, I'm sorry, Ren, which are you headed back to the Forgotten Ingredient, or do you have other errands? Or are you headed in a different direction?
I think I'm finished with errands. Oh, yeah, because we're at the port, right? That's where we left off with the Ren.
I think the last thing you did, you went to the place where Varn just was, right?
Well, no, because Varn we went to the port, and Ren returned the sword.
That's right.
So that's where we wrapped up them.
Correct.
So now, I don't have anything else. I would probably be heading back to the ingredient.
Great. Saloon, you would notice that Ren, he presented his sword that you've seen him use many times to the woman who was the mother of this kid who you found at the docks, and now you're headed back through the market district.
While we head back, could I talk to Ren?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Floon will be like walking next to Ren and like look up to him and be like, so Ren, why do you fight?
I don't always know. Right now I fight because that's what I'm here to do. It's what I was sent here for.
Who sent you?
My master, and he'll kind of like point to the back of his robe where the symbol for his order is. Master Jinba. He taught me how to fight and do the things that I do. And he sent me here as a favor. He's an old friend of the Queen. He heard she was in need of help, so I'm here.
So that's why you stuck around with everybody? Come back to Hannon?
Yeah, that's the job.
What about whenever you're done?
I'll be around to make sure things continue smoothly for a little while, and then I'll head back to the Sword Coast.
Do you have family there?
Ren would... I don't know. After Ren had delivered the sword, like he kind of had blank but peaceful look on his face. And with this unexpected question, his brow would just furrow in contemplation a little bit. They're probably still there. I wouldn't be going to see them though.
You'd be all by yourself?
No, I would be at the monastery with the other monks. But they're not family.
You ever come back to see us?
It's possible. It's a long journey. It takes about a month to get here, just on the water.
Well, since you don't have, well, since you aren't going back to your family, does that mean no one else is going back to their families either?
You'd have to ask them. I don't know which of them have families to go back to.
Well, she told me that Octavian put her brother to rest, but she said it was too late. What does she mean by that?
It means he died.
Why did he die? What was it too late for? Was he sick?
If I'm wrong, B's brother was killed by the Jabberwocky, right?
I believe that's right.
Yeah. Well, B's brother was, it was attacked by the Wing of Terror and then turned, and it was still technically alive, but he got put down.
The Winged Terror is my horse.
The Winged Madness.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
the
the Wing of
the
Madness.
Jabberwock, the dragon thingy.
He was killed by a odd dragon-like creature in the Verwood.
So Octavian didn't put him to rest then?
Sometimes things linger close to or after death, and putting them to rest is a way of finishing them so they can be at peace and not in a state of torture.
Was Octavian angry when he did that?
I don't think so.
Well, last night, after that guy said there was a traitor, and then when those scary monsters showed up, Octavian looked super angry. It was really scary.
Yes, he has a good heart, but there's a temper in him. There is in me too.
Yeah, you
I
threatened to cut off his fingers.
Well, that was mostly a bluff. I mean, I would have cut off one at most, just to prove a point. And I know I said a lot of things I would have done to him, but I wouldn't have actually done it. It was mostly just to scare him.
Do you think that if I did something wrong, you guys would do the same thing to me?
Probably not. Have you done
Someone
that?
looks to Ren and like raises an eyebrow, like, what?
Have you done something bad? Or do you plan on doing something bad?
I don't think so. I've been doing my best to be good, but when I lost my mom, it happened because I strayed away from the path. So that's why I don't want to be alone, because what if I stray away from my path and then everyone gets hurt again?
Your path is what you choose it to be. And if there are consequences, then that's what happens, but it's your choice. And intent goes a long way, Saloon. You can do things that are wrong, you can make mistakes, but if you do it with a good heart, like Octavian does, then things can be forgiven, understanding can be had. I have done a lot of things, a lot of bad things, for a lot of bad reasons. There is no forgiveness for the things that I have done. But as long as you just do your best and do it genuinely with a good heart, then I imagine people would understand. Mistakes happen. And you have friends now. You don't have to be alone if you don't want to be. You seem to be getting along with Adney, even if you didn't want to continue adventuring. You, I'm certain, would be welcome among the hold and stay friends with her. You could be friends with the princess. How does that sound?
I don't really know how the princess thing works.
It just means she's in charge if her mother dies.
Isn't that kind of sad though? Why would you want to be in charge if your mom died?
It's just the way those sorts of things work. Certainly she's not going to be looking forward to that day. But someone must lead.
Sorry, my thing cut out real fast. So, did you say anything after someone must lead?
I said, she won't be looking forward to that day, but someone has to lead.
Well, you mentioned having a good heart, right?
It's a good first step.
I think I'm good. I'm nice to everyone. I got you guys all bracelets and I helped serve food, help in battle.
I'm not sure what to make of you still, but you seem to. You seem to be kind and empathetic. We should probably get you enrolled in school at some point.
Why school? What is it?
The fact that you don't know what school is exactly why you need school.
Oh,
It's a place to learn.
What did I learn when I'm around you guys?
You're probably learning the wrong things around us. There's much more that this world can offer than fighting.
But isn't fighting a way to survive, though? Safeguard told me I have to fight because I must.
Safeguard's not the best role model. Safeguard's purpose is fighting. They do it very well. But if there are options, we should see what they are. I wasn't supposed to be a fighter. I was going to be a fisherman. I was going to be a sailor. And then I was taken by pirates. And then fighting was all I had after that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just scared.
Are you scared of the past, the future, or something else?
I'm scared that I'm scared of the person who gave me my powers. I don't really recall my interaction with them. Bee was asking me about it too, but she was also asking me about my mom and how I lost her, but when I try to think about it, it all gets fuzzy and I just feel upset and I don't know why. So, I'm scared that I can't remember.
This creature that gave you your powers, do they still talk to you?
Sometimes.
What makes you afraid? If they threaten you, ask you to do something you don't want to do?
I want to be able to see my mom again. So, I have to get stronger.
Anything like that is far beyond anything that I know.
Yeah. I don't know much either. I don't want anyone to get hurt.
I'd rather that not happen either.
Are you ever scared, friend?
If you're a pirate for as long as I've been, you don't get scared. You know, any interaction, any fight, when you attack another boat, attack a village, when most of your life is violence, even when you're crewmates want to kill you, you learn to accept that any day you can die. Even though I'm not a pirate, I still know that's true. So I take every day I get. I give nothing back. And if I die, I die. There's no point in being afraid of it.
I think that a lot of us would be sad if you died, though.
Well, that sadness is kinder than I deserve.
Would you guys say that you're walking at a slow pace, a normal pace?
I imagine normal.
Varn, I'd say if you're headed to the Forgotten Ingredient, you might see, at the end of the road, you might see two familiar figures about 200 yards away.
They had left a fair amount earlier than I did, though.
Well, they went to the docks and did some stuff while you ate the wings, so I'm imagining that your paths... I don't know. That was my headcanon, but you certainly play it the way you want. No problem. Ren, you probably noticed that you are getting into the neighborhood of the Forgotten Ingredient, so you're almost there.
Yeah, just continue on our way.
Okay. So, can we keep this between us? About me being scared and everything.
Of course.
Promise. Celine like holds out her pinky again.
Sure, Ronald, pinky promise.
Okay. She smiles and then she gives you a thumbs up. Alright. And I'm gonna keep walking, but like looking down at the dirt.
Saloon,
Just
a thumbs up like in your profile picture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I specifically got the thumbs up for that purpose.
Nice. As you pinky promise and get the thumbs up, Ren, you would see the familiar outline of the Forgotten Ingredient. As we're in the mid afternoon. There's no lights on inside yet. It's still daytime. So.
I go inside.
Excellent. You would see Alis, who appears to have cleaned up after the goblins, and you would see Gerard, who is sweeping the floor, helping out as you enter. And I don't think anyone else had stayed behind. So yeah, it would just be the two of them at the moment.
Oh, Saloon. The two men that I don't know if Octavian dragged them, whoever was dragged them out of the fight with the cheese, right? The two half-orcs. Do you know what happened with them?
No, I was up in my room, I think. I don't remember.
It would have been right when we exited you exited the burning building.
Oh.
Beheader spiders and the unconscious people.
I think Safeguard took them to where the queen was holding the other people.
Right.
The attempted assassin and the informant that Candle nabbed.
Would Celine have known that? Because I was talking to Bede, I think, during that.
I think so, because Safeguard basically went that direction, while the rest of us went back to the Forgotten Ingredient. I'm pretty sure they told us.
I mean, even if they didn't,
I-
you would have noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, actually, you would know because I went to the Forgotten Ingredient with you guys.
Oh, you did,
left
and then
me
you were like,
horse
"Alright, I gotta
behind.
go." Yeah, because you had to
Yeah.
get your horse. That's right.
Yes, you all know that I left. Split
I
the
think
party.
Safeguard took them.
Okay. Hopefully, some information will be gotten out of them.
Excellent. As Gerard, is finishing sweeping, he would notice you come in and say, "Ah, Ren, welcome back." And pointing to the tiefling, what was your name again, dear?
Saloon?
Saloon. Yes, of course. Welcome, welcome. Are you? Well, we've just finished cleaning up. I was up all night. I was able to follow Barney's directions, and I was able to create some of those devices. We delivered them to Stab. I guess Varn paid him the money.
I think he threw them all out the window. They were talking about it at breakfast.
Ah. Yes, I'm sorry I wasn't there. I had slept in a bit this morning. I was up very late. Bafflestone was a genius in some ways, but his handwriting let much to be and at this, you would notice a familiar woman, about 50s, with long silver gray hair and fair skin. She would walk in, and you'd recognize Estelle. And she would say, "Gerard, put that broom down. You were up all night resting. You must sit. I'll get you some tea." And he says, "Estelle, please. I'm not an invalid. Ayla shouldn't have to clean up after those goblins by herself. I was simply lending a hand." And he relents, hands her the broom, and he slumps down into his armchair at the dining table.
Were you given any idea when the others would be back?
Gerard would look to Aylis, who just shakes her head and says, "I know Elise went to the temple on some business. She's usually back quite late. The others, I don't know."
No. So I was just curious because I have absolutely nothing to do or talk about. So
Okay. Why don't we check in with Cake before his phone dies? Cake, you there?
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello?
You sound dead.
it sounds like you're pretending to be a ghost.
Ah, jeez.
Hi, Cake. As you are
Give me
flying...
a second, everybody.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, how's this?
You live.
Hello?
Great. It sounds perfect.
Oh, good. I switched over to my phone, like phone mode instead of my headphones or anything else.
Crystal clear.
Howdy.
Howdy. You have been flying for several hours, and just in the interest of time, I'd say that you are almost where you need to be. We're a bit asynchronous here.
Excellent. I'm excited that I have almost arrived. How's been the trip with my compatriot, person who's been on my back for the past 24 hours?
That's right. Let me grab. Do I have a token for an eagle? Let me take a quick peek. I think I do. I think we did have one. You know what? I'm just going to use this for now, but if you have a different one, let me know. Oh, that didn't work at all. Why didn't that work? dragging a token onto the stage, and it's not working. I'm going to refresh my roll 20. As you're approaching, Cake, you would notice that Danric, is he in his human form, I believe, in the Eagle's Claws? Is that where we left off?
Yes. Well, I thought we left it off as he's transformed back into a human and is riding on B's back so that he can just sort of talk my ears off the entire time.
Excellent.
He's now a chipmunk just chattering at you.
He's one of the chipmunks from Alvin and the Chipmunk. His voice is really high.
Nice.
And it's just torture.
Yeah, he got distracted and turned into a chipmunk, and now he's just chattering at you.
He keeps wasting spell slots and turning into different animals. he's like, oh, I could turn into a giant skunk. I could turn into a giant beaver. Oh, I can't turn into anything anymore. Let me sleep for 8 hours. Well, anyways, I'm glad that I'm assuming the path that we're taking, Ellis, is that white dotted line on the map you sent me.
Yes, basically, right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
what I'd like to do, I don't know where exactly I am.
Yeah, I'm trying
on the
to
map.
drop. Yeah, I'm trying to drop a bird token, and roll 20 is just not having it. I don't know.
I'm not on roll 20, by the way. I'm
That's
only
fine.
I'm
That's
only
fine.
on this, just so you know.
Yeah, why don't we say that we are approaching the house icon, we're maybe a few miles off from that, which is the center
Yeah.
of the main settlement.
I'd like to go through there, and I'd like to keep continuing. I guess east would be the direction. I'm assuming. I don't know. I want to keep following that white dotted line
Sure.
and sort of scanning that entire coastal area.
Mm-hmm.
And just in case my phone does die and I'm not here, when on my way back, I'd like to fly. I'd like to kind of cut through the hills of Han, excuse me.
Yes.
And I'd like to sort of make sure they're not hiding in the hills anymore.
Excellent. So as you are approaching the town of Haverhill, you would notice. You would notice what looks like a staging area where you would see them building the siege equipment. It looks like they have a couple of trebuchets built, and they are moving them down the road a bit. You would see that. Heading towards closer to the city itself. You don't have your character sheet open, do you?
I do not.
May I make a perception roll on your behalf?
Yeah, I should have a plus. Oh no, I'm a giant eagle.
You are an eagle.
So
yes.
I'd have advantage because you said it's a sight thing, right?
It is. That's true.
Then whatever the roll is, I have advantage.
Yeah, Justin.
I think
where's on the
with
character
wild
sheet?
shape, you keep your mental stats, so you
great.
keep charisma, wisdom, perception, but you
Right.
gain the properties of the creature you turn into.
Yeah.
So you use your perception with
whatever.
advantage.
Right. I think I have like a +3 or a +2, but I get it with advantage.
Okay. With your permission, Cake, I'm going to roll that with advantage.
Yes, please.
Oh, that's a nat 1. Let's try that.
All right.
Let's try that. Okay, a 16. A 16. Excellent.
That's better.
Wow. I would have felt really bad. With a 16, as you're approaching the main settlement of Haverhill, B, you would notice the large camp, the main camp, with many different bits of construction happening. Just in front of the main town, there looks to be, at least by your reckoning with your eagle eyes, approximately 500 soldiers in heavy armor on foot, and what looks like it could be almost another 1,000 in leather and chain. Several dozen cavalry, sorted other figures. It could be archers or other types of support. It's difficult to tell from this distance because you are rather high up. And with that 16 Cake, you would actually notice one particular figure catches your eye. Would you dip a bit lower to get a closer look? Did your phone die? Did my phone die?
No, 'cause I
No.
can hear you.
Cake?
You don't sound like you're on your phone.
No, I'm not. I know that Cake is actually at a formal event.
Hmm.
So may have been approached by someone. Let's say that a Cake does not and begins to turn north. And we'll see. We will check back in with B and Danric when Cake becomes available. So shall we say that would Octavian and Versailles and Safeguard head back to the shop, or did they have other errands to run?
Hold on, I'm looking at something. I have one thing. They can go do what they want to do, but
Yes,
is there like an enchanter in town or something like that?
there is. Well, there was.
Okay.
You can go check it out.
Yeah, I'll head where I remember that. I might have a job, a quick job.
Okay.
Add it to the
She's
other three that
she's
are
busy
going.
with
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know that. So
Where did you go, Cobra? Do you remember? Was it the Miss of Falinora?
maybe I don't remember the name.
Yeah, that's the main enchanter who's still there. So
It's the one on the listing here.
Yeah, I feel like you'd probably remember that, Octavian. Although I mean, there's certainly directories here and there. So
okay, well, I'll go there.
certainly. Entering, you would find a figure who appears to be rather busy, and she would say, "I'm sorry, we're closed today. Come back tomorrow if you would."
Are you sure? I'm wanting to inquire about enchanting services.
Looking up, seeing your rather unique figure, if I may, Octavian, she would give you a once over and say,
I'm also with Octavian, by the way.
"Oh, you would walk in as well."
Yeah.
And she would look up and say, "Oh, forgive me. Forgive me. I have rather a few urgent commissions. I'll probably be up the rest of the night. I hope your matter isn't particularly urgent."
I assume it's very urgent.
She sort of sighs and she puts down the book and that she was reading, working from, and she says, "What do you need? Is this official business for the Queen?"
Adjacently related, I suppose. I'm working on behalf of her.
There was a trio in earlier, a human, a tiefling, and a goblin who claim to be on royal business. Are they friends of yours?
Yes, actually.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Well, if you are busy, then perhaps at the very least I can get some pricing sorted away. I have an I was wondering, kind of take my shield and I put it on the table. The shield has served me well for quite some time, but I think it could be better. Some minor magical enhancements make it a bit stronger, defend a bit better. What sort of that to be something capable, and if so, how much would you charge?
I see. She takes a look.
I'm
at
just
it.
looking for like a +1, basically.
I see. Let's take a look at your existing shield. She would take a look at it. Seems just like you have a basic shield.
Yeah, I just have a normal standard shield.
Okay.
It's like a big round kind of like Greek hoplite shield, but it's like made of
Yes.
steel and shit. It's got some very worn iconography on the front of it. It's seen a lot of hits.
Yes.
It also has a bracelet on it.
Yes, it does have that on the strap on the inside. I totally forgot. Thank you.
What does it have on the inside?
Just like the bracelet that Saloon got, they kind of wrapped it around the straps on the
neat.
inside. Yeah.
Cool. She would say, well, I think there's a simple transmutation that I know. It could be done quickly. If it's, and she gestures to Safeguard and says, if it's business for Her Majesty, I could do it. I could do it for you at cost.
Well, would that get in the way of my friend's commissions?
She'd say it's a simple enough transmutation. I think I could have it done by the morning.
That is good. What sort of what would that cost?
She'd say the cost of the regents and the inks of the runes and the bit. It's all a bit of it's a bit more art than science. You understand, of course. These types of things. I believe I could do it for 200 gold.
That is acceptable.
Excellent. That will cover my costs as well as the lost night's sleep, if you'll forgive me. She sort of sighs and she sort of cracks her neck a little bit, and she's sort of rubbing her neck.
Well, I appreciate you taking this as well as not getting in the way of my compatriots. We're going into battle, and it's long since past that I had some work done on my old friend here.
She sort of looks at both of you. Did Versailles go in as well? Is it a trio?
No, she had actually gone to. Let me make sure I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah.
I think it's Azur's Pommel.
Oh,
number
yes.
16.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah, she told Safeguard when they left that she would head there.
Great. We'll jump over in a minute. She would look at the two of you and say, "The sooner this is over, the sooner business can return to normal. So it's an investment, to be sure. So please."
I like how you think.
Yes.
I don't even have to convince you of anything.
She'd say, "I've
You're
pragmatic."
emotional.
Yes. Yes. If nothing else, having the first spear of Hannon is an honor.
Of course. I'm also looking to get some work done.
She says, "Oh,
My apologies. But I will pay you very, very handsomely because, well, I will get you your money in a little bit, but you don't have to start your work until I get you money. I just want to quote. I would like something done to my shield and my lance. Simply, for my weapon, I just want it to be easier to hit things and have it hit harder. I just want like a +1.
To your lance?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want something done to my shield. I want, specifically the thing I want is Pariah's shield, if that can be made. I can tell you what that does.
Sure, thanks.
You gain +1 to your AC for every 2 allies within 5 feet of you, to a maximum of +3
So
while you wield the shield.
I don't mean to metagame, but your character sheet says you have 10 gold.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ask Ailswift to pay for this.
Ah!
And I'm gonna go roll a fat persuasion check.
Excellent.
And get free money.
I like to click over quick just to see what we're working with.
That's why I asked for a quote, my friend.
Yes, of course. Do you have or is that in Beyond? Could you send me a link for that shield?
Yeah, I can I mean, I
Thank
don't know
you,
how to
Mike.
send you the link to it, but I can send you a screenshot of the item.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's from Ravnica. That's why.
Yeah, if I'm looking at the right sort of price chart, I feel like the +1 spear would probably run about 200.
Like you should be able to go and display it in VTT or VVT or whatever
Oh,
it is.
yes.
There we go.
I think
already
I
had
have
it
to
up.
launch my-
Oh, it just
Yeah,
posts
but-
the picture. Oh wait,
Wow.
it's a link. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Pariah Shield. Soldiers of the Family, you gain a +1 to AC for every 2 allies. Okay. Oh wow, every 2 allies. So if you're like surrounded, you can get it.
Yeah, like if you're surrounded, it's really strong, right? But you don't ever get that. You don't get that bonus if you're alone, right?
Yeah, but you can defend people too. That's really cool.
Yeah, and see, I also think that this is still okay and balanced because, I get more AC if I stand next to Octavian, probably, right?
Me and one other person. Yeah.
Yeah, you and one other person, but like other people are going to be in melee, right? I'll get the AC raised, but I still take damage from Octavian.
Would you folks tell me, because I'm not great at pricing things, I feel like the two together, I feel like 500 gold. Does that seem reasonable?
500 gold? I think that's cheap.
That's too cheap.
Yeah, that is pretty cheap. That's a rare. Pariah's
rare-
shield is
that's a rare
rare.
What about 500 for the shield, 250 for the spear?
Let me open the DMG.
Because I always have trouble with
I
pricing.
mean, it's definitely better.
Yeah.
DMG pricing is really weird.
I mean, this is all
'cause
fake
they-
money anyway, because the queen's just going to write a check, right? So.
Yeah.
She's gonna write a check. It's gonna bounce. It's fine.
Yeah, well, it's only good if they win.
Pay to the Royal Treasury of Hannen once it
Yeah.
is.
Once it's
it is back under
restored.
control.
No, I'm gonna give Safeguard some knowledge that Safeguard would know. The queen's money is like mostly in the hold, so this person is gonna get paid only if you win.
Oh, ye of little faith! We're gonna kick their ass.
Yes.
Yeah, the pricing guide that the DMG gives you operates under the assumption that you are using their tables for loot.
Yes.
But considering a rare item, they give you a value range of 501 gold to 5,000 gold.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it gets a little.
It's like, yeah, 500 gold is fine for maybe an enchantment cost, but like at the same time, it's such a fucking wide range
Yes.
because so many items fall under the rare
and
category.
This is this is enchantment cost, I
see.
guess.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm asking her to make me a fucking weapon, right?
No, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, actually, that's a good point.
So yeah. So on the spear, she would quote 250.
Yes.
Yes, I'm so sorry, the lance. And then on the shield, I think she'd say that she will research it and do what she can. You know what I mean?
Okay.
In terms of getting it the exact way you want it. She would actually say, pardon me for 1 minute, Mother Delmira, and you hear a voice, Mother, would you come here for just a moment? And you see this wizened old elf. She comes out. She has sort of long white hair tied back, and she has like a shawl over her shoulders, and she's walking with a cane. And she comes out. She said, "Yeah." She says, "Mother, we have many orders. It's for the queen. We need to have them due by tomorrow. Please, if you're up to it, I could use your help tonight." Of course, some enchantments. I'm a bit rusty. She starts rolling up her sleeve. She says, "I think we could work together.
Oh, no.
we could work together, my dear. Put the kettle
Stop
on."
making us feel bad.
She called her grandma out to help her, so it looks like that they're going to be able to get it done with some luck. Excellent. Yes, so she would promise, if you come back in the morning, they're going to do their best.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course, and good luck. We're all hoping, praying, whatever each citizen's custom is, that this will be over soon.
Well, with your help with our request, we'll have a better chance.
Excellent.
Real quick, I have a fucking mace in my inventory for some reason. I don't know why. I think I found it in a random loot pile.
Probably.
Can I just go like sell that to a blacksmith before I head back? I just wanna. It says it costs like 5 gold, but I imagine I'll probably get a little less. I just want it out of my inventory.
I'm gonna make Cobra really happy. You easily find a blacksmith, add 5 gold.
Okay.
See, Cobra, I can do it if I have to.
Yay! All right, cool.
Appreciate it.
You walk into the blacksmith shop and he's having a roast mutton. He stands up.
What would you give me for this mace? And make it. But yeah. So okay, that's.
Roll persuasion with disadvantage because he's ornery.
You're interrupting his meal.
Okay, so we have a +1 lance, a +1 shield, and the pariah's shield. And then for Ren, we had the bracers, right?
Yeah, the rings.
The rings, excuse me, yeah, the rings. And then didn't Saloon order something as well?
Not something magical, I don't think. It's she just wanted the.
Yeah, she took the gems, and she wanted it to be turned into bracelets, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bracelet for me and then a collar for... No, a bracelet for me that could also be a collar for Rex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Are
there's
the gems. And then I also got studded leather armor. I don't know if that was like already given to me or not.
Yes, yeah, I believe you would have just received that.
Wait, does that add to my armor class then?
Yeah, it would, yeah. If you add it to your character sheet, just make sure that you go into equipment and make sure you click the square box to equip it and unequip whatever you had before.
Okay, also, I was looking at my actions and then I clicked bonus action and it says 2-weapon fighting.
Yeah, if you have an offhand weapon, I think bonus action you can use that.
Yeah, 2-weapon fighting basically is okay. I got 2 daggers or 2 short swords. You take the attack action to stab with one. You can then use your bonus action to stab with the other one. The only thing is you don't get your ability score bonus on the damage unless you have a feat. Or no, not a feat. If you have the 2-weapon. Yeah, if you have the fighting style. It's just different.
And be aware, and I want someone to correct me, if you are 2-weapon fighting, you cannot cast spells with somatic components unless you have feet.
Warcaster.
Yes, Warcaster. So just be aware. Because you need your free hand to draw the runes in the air. Did she leave?
Yeah, she's back now.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back. After I cast a spell, that's just my action, right? For the whole turn?
Generally, yeah, most spells that you'll have access to as a warlock are actions.
Okay.
But if you're engaged in 2-weapon fighting, you can't cast spells that have static components, which are like hand gestures and whatnot, because your hands are occupied. You would need a feat for that.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, but honestly, as a warlock, especially with you being a fiend, or not fiend, a fey warlock, you're much better at range, so weapon fighting is generally a last resort.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as you're stabbing with a short sword, which is like 1d6 versus your Eldritch Blast, which is a 1d10. So
I do a lot more damage with my spells.
And you get more of them for like Eldritch Blasts and stuff. So I started blasting.
We have a request. Vorm, are you there?
Yeah.
Would you be walking back through town?
Yeah, he's probably almost back, I would think. Maybe.
Okay. Elaine messaged me and said that she wanted to know.
Yeah, we were discussing that too.
Okay,
so.
great. If you want to take care of that, that's cool.
Yeah. Can I go and make a weapon that randomly goes and explodes with a 25% chance of like elemental damage on impact?
Yep. And
sweet.
But if you're gonna play Versailles, you have to do the voice.
Okay. I'm fine with that. No. It was a joke, but I was going and saying like, here, I'll just post it.
Is she going to the weapon shop, or is Varn making her something with his abilities?
Oh, Varn would probably go and make it himself, just to go and prove to himself that he can.
Sure.
But yeah, this was the joke line here. If it'll go and pop up, there we go.
I think if something explodes in Versailles' face, I think that'd be really funny.
Oops. Oh fuck! I forgot to check on the fucking cheese that they got. So I had detect poison and disease up.
They're all dead.
Oh.
Go back. It's like
Let me just say I did it. That's
yeah.
it is.
The cheese was fine.
Okay.
For whatever shady shit he was into, he made good cheese.
Say what you
He
will
took his
about
cheese
the
seriously.
Yeah.
say what you will about the Rakshasa. He's a man of his word. The cheese is good.
You steam a good ham. You're an odd fellow, but you steam a good ham.
Oh yeah, but Varn would probably go and build her something.
Excellent. Yeah, we can work out the details over the next week, I assume.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unless she, who knows?
She's got a longbow right now, I think, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she's been looking to upgrade.
It's gonna get compound bow from fucking
That-
Varn.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying. He's like, yeah, Varn would probably go and just build you a fucking compound bow just because he wants to try.
Yep.
And then I had the mad thought of a 25% chance that it accidentally causes some form of elemental explosion with a 25% chance on like a D4 roll.
I like how it says, "Oops, Varn."
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. It randomly goes and explodes with ice. And it's like, didn't mean it for it to do that.
That's
Fuck!
great.
What did I do?
That's excellent. Perfect. So you'll be working on that for her, and I think Cake died, so there was something juicy
Rip.
that B could have spotted, but B did not know.
Was it a ham?
A ham. It was a ham. I will tell you that Danrick, as they're flying to the north over the hills, said, "My house is to the east, farther still. Did you know that Jacob's family lived on a plot of land here? Their nephew, Jacob Jacobs, he was a wheelwright, and a very good one too. He was able to fix the water wheel along the River Arun, which powered the textile mill." And he just goes going on and on.
I am honestly not surprised.
But we tied an onion to our belt because that was the style at the time.
That's one of my. I will watch that 10 times in a row. I love that. Give me 5 Bs for a nickel, you'd say. All right, good. So I will leave it to you all. As you head into the late afternoon, we can time skip or meet up at the shop, whatever you'd like to do.
I'm trying to think. There was something else that I wanted to talk to somebody about, and I don't fucking remember.
Lambless, perhaps?
Do I have anything to talk to Lambless about? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you talked to him this morning.
Yeah, what was he? I forget. What was he
His
being all ornery about?
Yeah, his deal was that the Queen sent him to go bring Adney back. And then also he brought the map that Sibo drew up, showing you a way around Haverhill that he was suggesting. And he is very antsy to get going because he is just very much believing that his 2 scouts, whose names I went and looked up, Ramesh and Akame, that they are still drawing breath.
When we meet for the meeting, there's talking to be done because we need to know, about if anything was learned from the captives taken from the cheese right, if anything was found in the cheese right's documents, and if they had any luck tracking down any of the monks that got out of hand and hold.
Cobra, did you notice when everyone was in the Vanadori camp that one of the monks was there?
I think at that point I was playing Slay the Spire.
That's fair.
I did not
Yes.
know. I did not know what they. I don't remember what they. looked
Meta,
like.
you don't know that, Octavian.
Yeah. So whatever.
But yes, you do have two prisoners. You have Pranara and Cantus Herringbone. Both are in the basement of the temple under the watchful eye of Mr. Candle.
We could go interrogate them a bit, maybe.
Break some fingers.
But regardless, the main thing is we need our scouting stuff back from B and Danric. Like,
Yes,
we know that, then we can
Yes.
make plans.
Yes, they will be back in the morning.
Yeah. I got a question though. Since we're going into battle, would the nodes have any spare potions that maybe they could dole out?
Clean them out last
They
time.
are alchemists.
So you cleaned them out last time you were here.
Yeah, but it's been 6 months. I'm just asking, just because, you know, it is a D&D adventure.
It is.
Got to gear up.
If
If not, that's cool. I just want to ask.
Estelle would explain that most of the potions that they've been able, based on the ingredients they need, most of the potions that they've been able to create, they have been using on. You notice that they built another building where they're tending to some of the displaced, and most of their resources have been going to that effort. But they would probably have a handful that they could spare for your effort.
Any amount would be useful. Between myself, Safeguard will not need them, but Safeguard can heal themselves. I can do the same. I'm more concerned with some of my other companions. But if you are willing to part with them, I can assure you that they will go to a good cause.
If you were to wait a little bit, she would return with 2 potions of healing and 1 potion of greater healing. And she would say, "I was able to find these. Elise won't like it, but we just won't tell her."
Secret is safe with me. I would put them in my inventory for now, and we can discuss who.
I mean, what's the point having
Well-
an alchemist for a friend if there's no perks?
Right? Exactly.
Why do you think Madcap hired Grilla?
There you
Yeah.
go.
And now she's an apprentice to one of the most powerful wizards in the city. You guys made good connections.
Yeah.
You got a network.
Madcap is just a headhunter, all right?
I can't wait to get back behind Quen's character sheet.
Yeah, that's gonna
She's-
be fun.
She's fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do like a session 0, like see where everybody is and what
Yeah.
y'all have been doing.
Yeah.
Introduce probably the new character and
Mm.
basically.
I mean, I don't really know what I've been doing yet, but Cobra and I have been throwing around ideas.
Yeah. Just give it some thought.
Ajax has kids.
Yeah, Ajax is being a family man.
Well, and Justin, you and I will have to talk about my character.
Yeah, well, that's something I would want to do during like the session 0, because I also want to get everybody on like the same page with that like return to them, because it's gonna be short and it's more of supposed to be a prelude to a lot of changes that are going to happen going forward in my setting. So there will be there's shit happening basically. Anyway, we can talk about that later. But yes, all right. So I put the potions in my inventory and hand them out later. Once everybody's back together and we're, you know, not we're not in that house.
I don't. It's and I'll defer to you folks, but I don't think Cake would mind if anybody rolled or wanted to complete that. I can fill him in later, or we could wait to, for the morning to see if he comes back.
Yeah. I mean, if nobody else says anything, we can get our stuff in the morning, and then
Well, I mean, was there going to be a meeting tonight?
No, the meeting I think was going to happen tomorrow because we're waiting on the intel from B and Danrick.
I mean, usually we don't get that until we can go over if anything was learned from the documents or if anything was learned from the captives from the cheese ride.
Yeah, we could do that.
Cobra, I feel like we did the cheese rate documents. But if not,
No, Ren set them out so they could drive. Ren gave them to Adney to take back to the Queen. None of our party looked at them.
Okay.
Because I was like, Ren's not going to look at him. He's that's not his deal.
He turned those over before he came back.
Okay.
Vern is currently
if there's nothing there,
in his room.
If there's nothing there, you can just tell us there's nothing there. We don't need to
Yeah. I know I wrote it down. I just gotta find it. I remember writing that out. Yeah, so if Adney took those, I guess you'll wait to see her to find out what, if anything, they found out.
Yeah.
So yeah, should we long rest or?
I think so. I don't think anybody has anything. So.
Yeah, Varn is basically just locked away in his room working on the bow for Versailles.
You
So
guys
there's
don't wanna
plenty of yelling
investigate?
and cursing coming from his rooms at the moment.
What was that, Saloon?
You guys don't want to investigate the captives? Don't want to question them or anything?
I think honestly we're probably just gonna leave that to
Candle and Flamless. I mean, Ren doesn't even know where they are, so.
yeah. Between Candle, Lambless, and Elise, I think they have it.
Mm-hmm.
Candle alone he can fucking take care of it. He's a freaking cat.
Yeah. Don't make me break out my claws.
They take a ball of yarn and they roll it, and he just scampers after it.
They bring him a snack. Candle walks over and just swats it off the table.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Makes aggressive eye contact.
Uh-huh. Does catnip in front of him, doesn't offer any.
Mm-hmm.
What a dick.
What a dick.
Alice, how long were we waiting on those items to be completed?
She told you to come back in the morning.
In the morning? All right.
Yeah, and she's got her grandma working all night on it.
Damn right. Maybe we'll get some butter cookies.
Butter cookies sounds literally like death. That is literally death to me, dude.
Well, more for me then.
Yeah, more for you. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy them.
I certainly will.
But oh my god, I wish I could eat them. But they sound great, but they would literally kill me.
Mm.
Yeah, they're shortbread cookies. They're great, but yeah, they're not great for somebody with your situation.
Yeah.
When I go pick up my stuff, since they were pulling an all-nighter and doing a shitload of work, can I go by that breakfast place real quick and get them 2 breakfast platters and some coffee or something to bring them?
Oh, of course. What a lovely idea.
Yeah, how much would that be?
Oh,
$12.50 for a dozen donuts.
yeah, for a good amount. Yeah, for a good amount. Maybe 2 gold.
Gold. All right, I'm gonna pay it in silver because I have a lot of silver just collecting dust.
Do 15 silver. I think is probably fair.
Okay. 15 silver. All right, cool. And I'll do that. Bring him that.
Octavian, do you tell Safeguard that you're doing this?
Yeah. I mean, we're going. Let's
Yeah,
make
I
a
mean, like,
start
I assume we go together, right?
I think a
Yeah.
lot of us have stuff to pick up.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll match whatever you buy them for breakfast.
Is this morning?
Okay. Yeah.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah. So after our like our morning routines, we'll go do that.
Could somebody
Do
roll?
we
me a
have
D-
any plans after this? Because Varn is probably looking like he's got black eyes at this point.
Hmm.
Varn didn't sleep at all. He's been working on the damn bow all night.
Hmm.
Well, if Varn wants to kick back and get like his rest in while we do stuff, he can.
Oh, he's going to pick up the stuff, but he's probably gonna head back and either keep working or go to bed.
Yeah. Well, if he wants to be a part of the strategy meeting, he can. Otherwise, he should get his rest.
No, Varn will go to that. He'll just sleep at the table.
Okay. What did you say to roll, Ellis?
Could you roll a d20?
Sure. 12.
12?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
I love it, Ellis.
I'm gonna be asked the same thing.
I did that last weekend. They rolled an 18. I'm like, oh shit. What were the pluses to that? And they're like, what are you fucking talking about? They were shitting themselves.
Or I think the magical sword bit from my brother and me, which I don't know. I think I didn't even know what that.
I've heard of that movie, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Wait, what?
My brother and me? It
Is it
sounds
not
familiar.
a movie? Is it not a movie?
No.
What is it?
So no, my brother and me and my brother and me podcast.
Oh, okay.
I know what it is.
Oh,
because
I
you
was
told
thinking-
me about
I
it
was
last
thinking
night,
something
listening, right? But
But no, there's a bit where they take a bad Yahoo question, Yahoo answers, and one of the questions was like, how much would it cost to curse a real sword? And and Justin was like pretending to be the shopkeeper because like one given answer. He's like, so you want to curse a sword? He's like, yeah. What kind of sword? A real sword. Oh, gee. You go like, oh god, oh gosh. I don't know. It's funny. I'll leave the clip because I'm not doing a very good job of it.
This is just really making me want to play Gwent. Did you see the
Here
meme?
they finally cut support for the Gwent like standalone game.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't doing very well.
Yeah.
So
I preferred
it's whatever.
just the base one.
Hey, we're getting the like next gen upgrade for Witcher 3 in a couple of days, so you can play all the Gwent you want.
Nice. Is that going to be free or do you got to pay?
Yeah, it's a free upgrade if you own it on.
Nice.
If it's like on your account on any like PlayStation or Xbox account, and if you own it on
I have it on Steam.
Yeah, own it on GOG, Steam, or
Okay.
I think it's on the Epic Game Store. You get a free upgrade.
Nice.
Yeah, gonna give me an excuse to play it again.
Did you see the meme where it's like Yen gets like time travel, like there's gonna be a battle at Sodden, like be prepared, and Geralt gets time travel. Their deck's melee heavy. Make sure you counter it with freeze.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. As dawn breaks over a grateful city, Octavian and Safeguard, you would indeed be able to find your way back to the breakfast place that you ate at yesterday, that Octavian dined at yesterday. You'd be able to procure a generous breakfast with a large. What would they give you to carry hot coffee in?
Like a sealed like
A pitcher.
jug. Yeah,
Yeah, jug.
sealed. Kind of like the little like
a bucket
like
with a
quart.
lid on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like a
like a tureen, but no, that's not right.
like a cork, and maybe it's like kind of leather wrapped, so it's like not
Yeah.
It's a
Too-
little mini keg.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
a mini keg.
Yeah, like the box of Joes or whatever. It's a little mini keg.
Yeah, Box of Joe is what I had in mind. Great. Yes, you would be able to do that. And then, are you making your way back to the Miss of Falinora?
Yes.
Tell me it has careful hot or caution hot etched into it too.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm going to be suing.
Entering the Miss of Falinora, you would notice that the woman who you dealt with yesterday is actually asleep in a rocking chair in the corner. And you would notice the grandmother smiling at you from behind the counter, and she says, "Oh, good morning."
Good morning. A token of thanks for working so hard on requests. Brought you to something.
Aren't you just darlings? And she sort of pats your hand.
Thorn peeks up over the counter. You got old. What happened?
Oh, hello, my friend. Delamira Ilglor. I believe you might be confusing me with my granddaughter, and gesturing to the sleeping elf in the rocking chair.
Thorn glances over too quick to notice. No, I'm pretty sure you're her.
Thassiona, dear, wake up. And she sort of stirs. She looks and she says, "Oh," and she jumps up and she says, "Oh, how long have I been asleep?" She says, "Don't worry, dear, I finished the
5
work.
minutes.
Well, a bit longer than that, my friend." Our friends have brought breakfast. Wasn't that sweet of them? And she says, "Oh, yes, indeed." And she would produce the lance. And she hands Octavian the shield, both of which appear to be glimmering slightly in the morning dawn light, morning light of the dawn, more than usual.
Go and strap it to myself. Kind of feel it around a little bit.
Yes.
Better than new. Thank you.
And the older woman, Delamira, she pulls up another shield, which would be familiar to Safeguard, and she says, I was a bit flummoxed by this one, but I think we got the job done."
Understandable. The thing's a little beat up, so I imagine it might have been hard to get it to stick.
Yes, you'd notice that they had pounded out some of the dents as best they could. They didn't do a very good job, but they certainly tried to shine it up,
Oh, no worries, no need at all. Oh wait, you were just saying that I noticed that. Never mind. I don't say anything about that. Whatever.
No, that's fine. And then, I feel like it would work the way you wanted it to. And she'd say, "May this protect you as you face our enemies."
Thank you very much. I will use it well.
Darling, look, hash browns, my favorite. And she's tucking into the breakfast.
Excellent. I am at 20 AC, baby. Let's go.
She would say, "Would you? I have the items as well for your friends. Would you like to collect them now, or?"
Did Ren not come? Or
No, Ren went with.
Oh, good. Then she would present to you your ring.
What was the 4 rings?
The 4 rings, indeed. Yes.
And then Ren would put them on. And he kind of like put like cross his arms over his chest, kind of like in a coffin. And then he kind of like kind of like a butterfly press, like pushed him to the sides, and he clings the rings against each other on his wrists. And when he does that, the rings light up with a light spell.
Ooh, nice.
Very cool. Saloon, are you there as well?
Yeah.
Did you specify the type of like band or chain? Did you say like white gold? Or...
She said it was silver.
Silver, excellent. The younger of the two elves would present to you the gem encrusted bracelet on a silver band, and she would say there was enough gems that we were also able to make a second one. So she would hand you a second one, and she'd say, with our compliments. So you would have a bracelet for yourself and a collar for Rex.
Oh, thank you.
More than enough stones there to get that done.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm gonna pull Rex out and put it on him.
Yes. Oh, what a curious creature.
Yeah, this is Rex. I'll hold Rex up for them to see a closer look.
Oh. I saw a creature like this once in my youth.
Really?
Yes, very...
Where did you live? Did you live in the scary forest too?
Well, it wasn't scary, but yes. We lived just northwest of a little town called Urenlin, which is quite near Starring in Altair. I would play in the woods, and we would sometimes journey northwest to the lake of Eminethius.
Not as fun.
You know what the name of the woods was called?
Anyone who's interested, she is referring to this location. Oops. What am I doing? There we go. This little village right here she's referring to.
Oh, okay.
And she's saying she would walk through the woods to this lake sometimes, and she saw a creature like that once in her youth, many, seemingly hundreds of years ago.
Sorry.
Oh. Are they super not common?
Oh, well, they certainly don't have any creatures like that here in Hannon that I've seen. Have you seen any deer? And the younger one shakes her head and says, no, of course
I
not.
found him in that one town across the sea. What was it called again? And she looks to the party.
Erisserine?
I mean, yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah,
but
Erisserine.
What he said.
Ah. Strange.
That's where I found Rex.
Strange news coming from Altair. It seems as though they've rather misplaced the country. Isn't that strange?
Misplaced?
Perhaps a trick of the eyes. We were there not long before it, air quotes, disappeared.
Didn't we watch it disappear?
As we left it, yeah.
Oh, see,
But they had already put the thing up.
See, I told you, Halcyon, it was just a mistake. You don't lose an entire country.
Oh no, we watched it go away. Gone.
Gone, I think, is the wrong term. As I said, perhaps.
Could you see it?
Doesn't mean it's not there.
The older elf appears as though she's not listening, and she says to Saloon, "How did you come to earn the company of such a creature?"
I just found them. Celine smiles.
Oh, and he took a liking to you. How lovely. And the younger would say, "Grandmother, you should eat before the food gets cold. Forgive us."
No, I've done fine work. Perhaps when this is all over, we'll have more work for you.
You're too kind, and please give our greetings to Her Majesty, if you see.
Of course.
And with that, they will bid you farewell. And thanks.
Yeah. All right. So, I think now it's meeting time. Is it?
I think so. Which meeting?
I think that is something we should do when we have everybody.
Yeah, we have cake and whatnot.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's kind of late, and we are down a lot of people.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Ellis, how many
I
of
think
those
it's, I think it's a really lame spot to stop, unfortunately, but...
I'll just tell you that I don't know. I do have a set piece that we may or may not need. So we'll see. I think that's vague enough. Yes, Varn.
How many of those walloping bolts did I go in order? Was it 10? Or was it 20?
Oh,
It was
definitely.
10.
I forget how many I went and asked
It
for.
was 10 for 75.
Was it 10? Alright, gotcha.
Yeah, but they could only make 8. Sorry. No, they made 10.
Well, it's alright. I know what to aim at first. Sign outside over the door.
Excellent. I don't know. There's just. I'm glad everyone's enjoying Provost.
Yeah.
I still have those 20 bolts dipped in basilisk phlegm too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. What does that do? Did we say, or do we not know yet?
No, I'm assuming it goes and like melts shit or lights it on fire. Walloping. Oh, it is WAL. Okay. All right. That's the next thing Varn's going and working on is deconstructing those and figuring out how to make them. I said Varn has like a 2-story bedroom, right? That's all built on one floor.
Oh, we did say that. Yeah, yeah. You've got the fancy stairs in your bedroom.
Yeah, he's got the little half flight of stairs. So he's got a workshop and he's got his bedroom. You walk in and it's just like cuts off halfway, at your waist. So if you're standing, you can look at him while he's in his room. If you're sitting down, you can look at him in the workshop.
Nice.
Oh,
We're
you're
still
sure.
at level 10, right?
11.
Or 11.
We're level 11.
When did we hit level 11?
Last session?
She's right.
Oh,
Beginning of last session.
well, that's fun.
Yeah, it means you get some. Depending on your level split, it means you get some. You probably get something cool.
8 and 2 at the moment. So,
You're gonna go. Do artificers choose their specialization at first or third level?
Third.
third.
Are you gonna go with that?
I don't know off the top of my head here. Let me see what the break or the split is.
Yeah, because you're fighter, right?
I think I get like Indomitable or something at 9.
Yeah. You get in.
Yeah.
You get in, which is good. But choosing your artificer specialization is also
Yeah.
a really big boost.
Yeah. I think I might go and take that.
You also get right tool for the job, which allows you to basically make any type of artisan's tools, as long as you have either thieves' tools or another type of artisan's tools.
Well, he's got Tinkerer's tools on him right now.
Yeah, well, those are artisan's tools, so you can use those,
Right.
and then, you can
Well,
make
yeah, I
any
can-
other set.
Right.
And you can do that during a short rest, which is pretty cool.
Let's see here.
I mean, alchemists, considering that you've been working with the Renaud's, kind of works, but at the same time, like, if you want to lean into the ranged blaster, artillerists are really good.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's up to you, though.
I wish I was playing Tiny.
I wouldn't recommend armorer, because I think armorer is best if you just go all in on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, my one goblin that I was tinkering with is he's just flat out. He's still he's an starting artificer, but he takes levels into fighter for what was it? Gunslinger, and ends up going and building taking battlesmith as well. So he goes and builds like a he gets his mechanical creature or whatever, and he goes and builds a like a turtle that has a like a chain gun on his back.
Jesus Christ.
You haven't seen Tiny's Mini?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, this one's fun. I loved it. Heroes, where is Tiny? Nope, not that one.